autotrophs, heterotrophs, and mixotrophs. How do these organisms obtain their food and energy for their continuous growth and development? Hello, SciPals! I am Sir Anvi Melendres, your science teacher for today. In this episode of Agham Alam Hub, we are going to discuss the different modes of how plants and animals procure their food and obtain energy. We will identify the nutritional requirements of plants and animals. Finally, we will appreciate the importance of proper nourishment for growth and development of organisms. In the next few minutes, we will explore science for another moment. Nutrition is the mode of acquiring and utilizing nutrients in the body. Nutrient refers to any substance required for the growth and maintenance of an organism. There are three accepted types of organisms based on the mode of nutrition. First are autotrophs. Autotrophs are organisms that obtain energy from sunlight and chemicals to produce their own food. For example, plants such as Mayana and chemosynthetic bacteria such as Vibrio stagnis pumantis. The second type of organism as to their mode of nutrition are heterotrophs. Heterotrophs are organisms that cannot make their own food and obtain their energy from other organisms. For example, animals such as snake and fungi such as mushrooms and molds. Scientists have recently identified the third classification known as mixotrophs. Mixotrophs are organisms that use both modes of nutrition. Organisms under the family Nepenthaceae, or commonly known as the pitcher plant, is an example of mixotroph. Among the latest species added in the list in this family is the Nepenthes cabanae, discovered by a team of biologists from the Central Mindanao University. The newfound species occurs only in Mount Malimumu, Pantaron Range, Bukidnon, province of Mindanao Island, Philippines. Pitcher plant is a greenish-colored plant with modified leaves that prepares its own food. In addition, it traps and consumes insects and small animals to gain nutrients aside from those obtained from the soil. Thus, it somehow depends on others for survival. Another example of organisms under this category is the Venus flytrap and the Oriental hornet. What are the nutritional requirements of plants and how do they absorb these nutrients? For autotrophs such as plants, their nutritional requirements are water and carbon dioxide. Note that water and carbon dioxide are the raw materials needed for photosynthesis. Plants also need essential nutrients or elements which include macronutrients which are normally required in amounts above 0.5% of the plant's dry weight, and micronutrients which are required in minute or trace amounts. Examples of these micronutrients are carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, potassium, calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, and sulfur. Examples of micronutrients are chlorine, iron, boron, manganese, zinc, cobalt, and molybdenum. There are two routes for the absorption of water and minerals across plant roots. First is the simplest route. This is where water and minerals are transported through the plasmodesmata, while the second route is the apoplast route, where water is transported along cell walls and extracellular spaces. Take note that the water and minerals from the soil need to reach the conducting tissues of plants, specifically the xylem. How about animals, including humans? What are their nutritional requirements, and how do they absorb these nutrients? Animals basically need macro and micromolecules for their nourishment. These include carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and essential nutrients. Carbohydrates serve as a major energy source for the cells in the body. These are usually obtained from grains, breads, cereals, fruits, and vegetables. Proteins can also be used as an energy source, but the body mainly uses these building materials for cell structures and as enzymes, hormones, parts of muscles, and bones. Proteins came from dairy products, poultry, fish, meat, and grains. Fats are used to build cell membranes, steroid hormones, and other cellular structures. It is also used to insulate nervous tissue and serve as an energy source. Fats also contain certain fat-soluble vitamins that are important for good health. They are obtained from oils, margarine, butter, fried foods, meat, and processed snack foods. Fats contain higher amount of energy per gram than carbohydrates and proteins. Essential nutrients include substances that animals and humans can only get from the foods they eat because they could not be synthesized inside the body. These include essential amino acids, essential fatty acids, and vitamins. Essential amino acids are needed for synthesis of proteins and enzymes. Among the 20 amino acids, 8 could not be synthesized by humans, such as lysine, tryptophan, threonine, methionine, phenylalanine, leucine, isoleucine, and valine. Essential fatty acids are used for making special membrane lipids, such as linoleic acid in humans. Vitamins are organic molecules required in small amounts for normal metabolism. Examples include fat-soluble vitamins such as A, D, E, and K, and water-soluble vitamins such as B, B2, B3, B12, and vitamin C. Animals, including humans, are heterotrophs. They must absorb nutrients or ingest food sources. Bulk feeders eat relatively large chunks of food and have adaptations like jaws, teeth, tentacles, claws, and pinchers. Absorptive feeders such as tapeworms live in a digestive system of another animal and absorb nutrients from that animal directly through their body wall. Filter feeders such as oysters and mussels collect small organisms and particles from the surrounding water. Substrate feeders such as earthworms and termites eat materials like dirt or wood they burrow through. Fluid feeders such as aphids pierce the body of a plant or animal and withdraw fluids. Nutrition means getting the food and nourishment that organisms need for health and growth. Nutrients are the fuel needed to enable the body to break down food and then put this to use in the body to repair and build cells and tissues. Without nutrition, organisms grow weak, sick, and at the very worst, can even die. In this episode of Agham Alam Hub, we discuss the different modes on how plants and animals procure their food and obtain energy. Generally, there are 3 types of organisms based on the mode of nutrition. First are autotrophs. These organisms obtain energy from sunlight and chemicals to produce their own food. Second are heterotrophs. These are organisms that cannot make their own food and obtain their energy from other organisms. Last are mixotrophs, which are organisms that use both modes of nutrition. In terms of nutritional requirements, autotrophs such as plants need water, carbon dioxide, and essential nutrients or elements. These are absorbed through two routes across the roots. The simplest route is where water and minerals are transported through the plasmodesmata. The apoplast route is where water is transported along cell walls and extracellular spaces. Meanwhile, animals basically need macro and micromolecules for their nourishment, and these include carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and essential nutrients. For animals including humans, they must absorb nutrients or ingest food sources. Other animals are further classified as bulk feeders, absorptive feeders, filter feeders, substrate feeders, and fluid feeders. Nutrition means getting the food and nourishment that organisms need for health and growth. Nutrients are the fuel needed to enable the body to break down food and then put this to use in the body to repair and build cells and tissues. Without nutrition, organisms grow weak, sick, and at the very worst can even die. The appearance of Burmese pythons in this episode was made possible through Mr. Grover Elias Reyes, Mr. Jeff Añoso, and Mr. Chris Willard Reyes. If you are interested with reptiles and other exotic animals, you may reach them through these contact details. That's all for today, SciPals! Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. See you again next week for another moment. Only here in Agham Alam Hub, Palajan SciTech Portal. Bye!